The Doors, packing a punch, Waiting for the Sun. And a Sunshine song by Bob Mould, coming out of the waning light of October and November, a welcome glimmer. Sunshine Rock, new by Bob Mould on FUV. Cavalcade with Paul Cavalcante. One last thing. It's new, and it's a little heady and conceptual, and it really comes more out of the world of classic culture. But I'd like you to dig this, especially having heard The Doors, because after all, they take their name from the doors of perception. That is very much at the heart of a new record called Heaven and Hell, The Doors of Perception, by the classical pianist Harriet Stubbs. She's young, but wise for her years. She's very much wrapped up in Blakean philosophy and the idea of innocence morphing into experience as steps in life's journey that she's taking herself, discovering music, discovering art, poetry, and in the case of this lead track from her album, which basically includes solo piano works by composers ranging from Mozart and Chopin to Shostakovich, here is something by a contemporary composer, John Adams, Phrygian Gates, with a little bit of poetry recital by a lived-in voice. Talk about the transition from innocence to experience. Her guest is narrator Marianne Faithfull, with Harriet Stubbs, produced by Grammy Award winner Russ Titelman, who has shaped sound for the likes of Paul Simon, Steve Winwood, James Taylor, and so many others. In the pop world, a foray into classical. And the doors of perception fling open on Cavalcade at FUV.
Rintrah roars and shakes his fires in the burdened air. Hungry clouds swag on the deep. Without contraries, there is no progression, attraction and repulsion, reason and energy, love and hate are necessary to human existence. From these contraries spring what the religious call good and evil. Good is the passive that obeys reason. Evil is the active, springing from energy. Good is heaven, evil is hell. As I was walking among the fires of hell, delighted with the enjoyments of genius, to which angels look like torment and insanity, I collected some of their proverbs. The road of excess leads to the palace of wisdom. The roaring of lions, the howling of wolves, the raging of the stormy sea, and the destructiveness of the sword are portions of eternity too great for the eye of man. Everything is possible. To be believed is an image of truth. tigers of wrath are wiser than the horses of instruction. You never know what is enough unless you know what is more than enough. Exuberance is beauty. Sooner murder an infant in its cradle than nurse enacted desires. Thus, men forgot all deities reside in the human breast. For the cherub with his flaming sword is hereby commanded to leave his guard at the tree of life. And when he does, the whole creation will be consumed and appear infinite and holy, whereas it now appears finite and corrupt. This will come to pass by an improvement in sensual enjoyment. But first, the notion that man has a body distinct from his soul is to be expunged. This I shall do by printing in the infernal method of corrosives, which in hell are salutary and medicinal, melting apparent surfaces away and deploying the infinite which was hid. For man has closed himself up till he sees all things through narrow chinks of his cavern. If the doors of perception were cleansed, everything would appear to man as it is, infinite.
Harriet Stubbs, piano. Marianne Faithfull, voice. Paul Cavalcante, it's been a pleasure. I hope that English accent has whet your appetite for much more with UKNY and Cara Manning next at 90.7 WFUV in New York.